Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If today is your first time of coming across my channel, you're highly welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. So on today's episode, I'll be showing you how to draft this basic bodice pattern. So this basic bodice pattern is just like the simple blouse and it's beginners friendly. If it's something you're interested in watching, please keep on watching. Thank you so much. Please do well to hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much once again guys for joining me. So for this basic bodice block, which is just your simple blouse without sleeves, these are the measurements needed. You need your length of blouse, your bust circumference, waist circumference, shoulder, bust span or nipple to nipple, shoulder to bust point, shoulder to under bust, shoulder to waistline, and your hip circumference. I've done a video on how to take this body measurement. Please, if you've not watched, do well to watch it. First thing I did was to lay my pattern paper into like so. Using my bust circumference divided by 4, I added extra 5 inches allowance. Then I went ahead to draw my starting line, which is my shoulder line. After that, I went ahead to measure from my starting line. I took my horizontal measurement. I took my shoulder to bust point, my shoulder to under bust point, and my shoulder to waistline. And I used the length of my pattern paper to determine the length of my blouse. And after that, I went ahead to draw the lines across like so. Then on my beginning line, which is also my shoulder line, I went ahead to take my neck measurement. I took a neck width of 3 inches and a neck depth of 3 inches, and I went ahead to draw a round neck like so. Then I almost forgot, I went ahead to label my lines. You need to always label your lines, especially as a beginner. I labeled my shoulder line, my bust point, my under bust, my waistline, and also the full length of my blouse. After that, on my shoulder line, I went ahead to mark my shoulder measurement. Take your shoulder divided by 2. My shoulder is 14 inches divided by 2. I had 7, so I went ahead to mark 7 on my shoulder line. So at my shoulder point, I came down by 1 inch, and then I took my shoulder slope or shoulder slant. Just draw a slant line to meet that 1 inch from your neck width. After taking the shoulder slant by 1 inch, you take your bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5, whatever you have, you use it as your chest line or armhole line. Or you can simply come up by 2 inches from your bust point line to determine your chest line or armhole line. Then you go ahead to draw it across like so and also label it the chest line. On my chest line, I went ahead to take my bust circumference divided by 4 and I marked it. My bust circumference is 34 divided by 4. I had 8.5 and I went ahead to mark 8.5. From my shoulder point, I marked a straight line down to my chest line. You have to make sure the line is very straight. You can just go ahead to mark 7 inches for your shoulder measurement on your chest line before drawing, so that you'll be sure you got a straight line. And then from the point of my shoulder slant, I went ahead to measure up to my chest line, which is 7 inches, and I took the half of it and I went ahead to mark it. Then at that point where I marked, I came in by half an inch, and then I'm going to connect from my shoulder slope point to that half an inch and then to my original bust circumference divided by 4. So the reason why I came in by half an inch is to prevent puffiness at that point. Then I went ahead to just draw my armhole like this. So this is the reason why you actually need your French curve, but just in case you don't have your French curve, you can as well use your free hand to draw your armhole very well. Just make sure that while drawing your armhole, you connect the points and you curve it very well. The next thing I'm going to go ahead to take is my bust span or nipple to nipple measurement. My bust span is actually 7 inches, but I'm going to add 1 inch and then divide it by 2, which is 4 inches. So on my waistline, I went ahead to mark 4 inches, and then I'm going to also go ahead to mark the 4 inches on my under bust line, my bust point line, and my full length. And then I'll just go ahead to draw a straight line across like so. But note, on your bust point line, you come down by 1 inch before you draw the straight line, just like so. So the reason for this line is because we want to take in our darts. So for my dart, I'm going to be using 1 inch, and I'll divide the 1 inch into 2, and then I'll take ½ inch from both sides at my waistline, just like so. I'll just take ½ inch to the side and ½ inch to the center part. Then I'm going to connect my dart. I'll connect my dart in a slant form to meet 1 inch after my bust point, and then I'll also connect it on the other side. On my blouse length, my full length, I'll come up by 1 inch, and then I'll also connect my dart in a slant form to meet that point. Then I'll go ahead to take my circumference measurement, my waist circumference divided by 4, and I'll mark it on my waistline. My waist circumference is 28 inches, divided by 4 I had 7 inches, so I went ahead to mark 7 inches. And then I'm going to measure my darts, and my dart, I took 1 inch for my dart, so I'm just going to replace the 1 inch. You have to always replace your dart so that your measurements will not be shortened. Then after that, I went ahead to take my hip measurement. I just decided to take my hip measurement at my blouse length point, which is 38, and 38 divided by 4 is 9.5. I marked 9.5, and then I will go ahead to connect my waistline to my hip line and also to my bust line. The next that I'll go ahead to take is my side dart. So to take my side dart, I came down by 2 inches from my bust point. Just mark 2 inches from your bust point, and then you're going to connect it to after ½ inch from your bust span. Your bust span is that straight line that came across, and then you're going to just measure ½ inch away to the side from your bust span, and then you connect it to the 2 inches, and that is all for the side dart. Taking a side dart is not always compulsory, but it's recommendable to give more fittings to your blouse. That I went ahead to add sewing allowance to my pattern paper, 1.5 inch on the sides. Then I went ahead to connect it. Adding your sewing allowance to your pattern paper is not actually compulsory, it's optional. It depends on you. I also added ½ inch sewing allowance at the up part of my shoulder, and this is because when you join your shoulder front to your shoulder back, you're going to shorten your measurement, so you need to add allowance so that you'll be able to join it and have your proper measurement. So guys, that's all for my front pattern. I'll just go ahead to cut it, but at this side that I'm going to add a small allowance at the side while cutting. That is because I want it to blend. I'm just going to show you that. So at this side dart point, I left about ½ inch. Then after the side dart point, I went back to my normal cutting. After cutting, this is what I have. So I'm going to now fold in as if I'm going to take the side dart. This is how you take your side dart. So since it's 2 inches, you're going to fold it in by 1 inch equally, and then you're going to fold it and take it in a slant manner. So this is just how, if you were taking it on your clothes, this is just how you take your side dart. So the reason why I'm folding it is because I want to blend that place. I want that part to blend. So as you can see, it's not well blended, so I had to do it in this manner so that it will blend, and I went ahead to just cut it and blend it out. Note that if I didn't have the ½ inch allowance, I would have gotten a shortage at that point. So because of that ½ inch, I did not have a shortage. So this is how it looks like, and we are all done with our front pattern. So we'll go ahead to cut our back pattern. For my back pattern, the pattern paper is remaining small, so I did not fold it into 2. I just kept it once at once. So I'm just going to take one side of my back, and then I'll use it to remove the other side whenever I'm sewing the clothes. So I went ahead to mark my zipper allowance 1.5 inch. I just took 1.5 inch across like so, and then I went ahead to mark my starting line where I'll start my measurement, and then I also marked my zipper allowance part. So personally, I feel the highest allowance you should take for your zip should be 2 inches and the minimum should be 1 inch, but I prefer taking 1.5 inch. After that, I marked my shoulder to my waistline and I draw the line across. Note, our shoulder to waistline on the back is always shorter than our shoulder to waistline on the front. So for mine, my shoulder to my waistline at the back is 14 inches, while my shoulder to my waistline at the front is 16 inches. So the shortage is by 2 inches. So in order to take the length of our bag, the full length of our bag, we are going to measure from the waist of the front to the full length. And when I measured, I had 7 1/4, and I went ahead to also measure the same from the waist of my bag to my full length at my back. So because of that, my back is shorter than my front by 2 inches, and this is where your waist dart comes in. So when we take our waist dart by that 2 inches, we are going to adjust the side of our front to align with the back of our front. I hope you understand. After that, I went ahead to label my zipper allowance, and then I also labeled my other lines. So after that, I went ahead to take my neck. I took my neck width at 3 inches and my neck depth at 1.5 inch, and then I used my hand to curve it like so. Then I also went ahead to mark my shoulder measurements, my shoulder divided by 2, and then I also went ahead to come down by 1 inch, and then I took the slant like I did to the front. I also went ahead to determine my chest line or my armhole line. I came down by 7 inches just like I did to the front, and then I went ahead to draw the line across. After that, I went ahead to connect a straight line from my shoulder point to my chest line. Then I went ahead to take my darts for my back. Note, for your back you do not need your bust point, so I took my dart taking my bust span divided by 2 plus ½ inch just like I did to the front. I marked 4 inches, and then I went ahead to mark the line across like so. And then for my up down part, I came up by 1 inch also, and then from my chest line, note that this time around I came down from my chest line by 1 inch, but for the front side it was from my bust point. And then at the waist part I took ½ inch, and then I also connected from that point in a slant form to meet my waistline. I did the same to the down part. So after that, I went ahead to take my bust circumference measurements on my chest line, my bust circumference divided by 4. I went ahead to mark it, and then I'm going to go ahead to draw my armhole curve. So this shows that you can actually use your free hand to draw your armhole curve as long as you know what you're doing. For my back, I didn't have to come in by ½ inch at the midpoint. It's not necessary. So I went ahead to also take my waist measurement. I replaced my darts by 1 inch, and then I decided to just add my allowances at once. I took my hip and I connected the lines. Don't forget to add your allowance if you are adding it at this point. Guys, if you've watched up to this point, please do well to hit the subscribe button and subscribe. So on my waistline at my zipper allowance point, I came in by ½ inch, and then I connected it to my chest line like so. And this is because I want to reduce the bulginess. It's not actually compulsory, but if you want your zipper allowance part to fit you at that point and not to be bulging, you have to do this. So guys, we are almost done with our back pattern. So I'm going to place my front pattern to my back pattern to show you how it's going to align. So when you take out your side darts, see how it aligns with your side of the back. So that's it. But just in case you do not want to take your side dart, you can as well take out 2 inches at the side of your front, and then you slant it to meet your front in that manner. So I went ahead to cut my back pattern, and before then I forgot that I had to add my allowance at my shoulder. So I'm going to go ahead to add my allowance at my shoulder by ½ inch before I finish my cutting. Guys, if you've watched up to this point and this video was of value to you, please hit the like button and comment on the comment section. So I went ahead to cut it out like so. So we are done with our pattern drafting. So this is just the pattern drafting. In my next video, I'm going to go ahead to sew this on a fabric to show you guys how to place the dart. So please hit the notification bell so that when I drop that video, you'll be notified. See how neat and fine our basic bodice pattern is looking. It's looking all fine. So for the back, you're going to remove 2 of these, and for the front is already on fold. You're going to just place your material on fold and cut it out. This is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying till the end. Please do well to subscribe if you've not subscribed, and also like if it was of value to you. So guys, see you in my next video. Bye.